Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the We Know Traders podcast over here on RHAP. I'm your host, the Duke of Deception, Pooya Vakili, ready to talk about another cast member for Traitors US Season 4. New day, new cast member, as it has been here for the last little bit, on the road to January 8th for the premiere of Season 4 of Traitors US. Now, we're here today to talk about someone who I've been very excited to see. I feel like has been on many wish lists from basically Season 1 and is finally getting their opportunity in the sun to be here in the castle. And with me today to talk about this person is a very multifaceted person. We could have had a wrestler, she'd be here. Survivor, she'd be here. Big Brother, she'd be here. We're to talk about Drag Race. Mari Forth is here today to talk about her with me. Mari, how you doing?
I am so excited. Yes, I am here to talk about my favorite drag queen of all time. I'm so glad to be able to do this preview with you, Pooya. And the goal is, once we're done with this preview, everybody should be excited to see Monet on the Traitors. All right, that is what I'm intending. If you don't know who Monet X Change is, you will know by the end of this podcast.
Yeah, I think people who do not know of Monet, who are not aware of her, are about to get a nice treat, both on this pod. And if the pod doesn't even sell you, I know the minute you see her on your screens, you will be sold. I'm not concerned.
Exactly. I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Well, so where should we begin? I feel like obviously Monet is going to be credited with being from Drag Race. That is where
Yeah.
I first got introduced to her. So
Yeah. I think what we have to do and what we have to get out of the way is Monet X Change is not Bob. You know what I'm saying? Like, for 2 seconds, Monet is not Bob. For
no.
those for those who don't know, Monet X Change is a Drag Race winner. She's competed on Drag Race 3 times. She won Drag Race All Stars 4, but she is known for being the the drag sister to Bob the Drag Queen. So for those who watch Traitors but don't know about Drag Race, they know what Bob did on last season of the Traitors. He was very entertaining, very chaotic in a sense. And I'm just here to tell you, just this section here, after this, it's nothing but Monet. They are not alike. They will not be playing the same type of game. They are two different entities when it comes to social strategy games. And even though they share a love for each other, they are best friends. They've been best friends for years. Don't expect the same thing. Don't go into this thinking Monet is going to act how Bob did.
I think that's a great PSA, and honestly, something we should have put for quite a few of these this season, because I think that it's very easy in human nature for people to be like, oh, this is someone who is from this franchise. Oh, and they do a podcast with this person, then it's probably the same person. It's going to be the same
Exactly.
energy. And that's really not the case. And I'm very excited for people to learn that and see that, because I do think that I would say that when we talked about Bob even last season, it was Bob is great. We're very excited to see Bob. Bob is my personal favorite drag queen contestant. But at the same time, I was like, well, why is Monet not here? Because I feel like
Exactly.
this is more Monet's avenue. So I'm
Yes.
very excited.
Yes. So speaking of which, Monet is an avid like social strategy like enthusiast. She is famously known for loving Survivor, so much so this past year she was able to go out on the influencer Survivor like 36-hour mini trip. She was
Mhm.
on that. So I know a lot of people in our community should have seen that video of all the influencers out there. She did a great job. She was not nobody was saying her name there. Monet loves to do Blood on the Clock Tower, Secret H. She loves social strategy. And exactly, Bob, we were like, it's Monet who likes that. Why is Bob here? But Monet is getting her turn. She's here. I can't wait to see how she does, because she is super competitive. And I credit her at least with introducing alliances to Drag Race,
Mm.
because I don't know if you know, Pooya, in All Stars 4, when they were kind of messing with the format a little bit, All Stars 4 introduced a voting aspect. And her eventual twinner, Trinity the Tuck, they won, they shared the crown together. They formed like an alliance on that show. So she has introduced alliances to Drag Race. She was one lip sync away from being crowned the queen of all queens. In my opinion, she's my queen of all queens, whatever. But so she is ready. Like I think she is ready, and I'm hoping she's very underestimated by the rest of the cast.
I mean, that's interesting, right? Because I do think that there's a world where some of these folks may not be familiar with Monet and are about to meet Monet for the first time. So I think that the underestimation should be there. My concern, Mari, is the thing you PSA'd at the beginning, which is some of these folks not familiar with Monet will have just watched season 3 in prep and are now going in being like, the last drag queen that was here was a traitor and also a very big personality pushing around agendas. So are they going to immediately be able to put her into a box? Now, I will say that, but I do trust in Monet to be able to immediately squash any of that with just natural personality. And I feel like she's a lot more, like the personality is there, but it's a lot more chill. And I think we're going to see that. I think they're going to, and it's going to be felt around the castle for sure.
Monet is way more chill. She won Miss Congeniality on her first Drag Race stint in season 10. She is a laid back, very charismatic, not confrontational. She's actually very non-confrontational until there's a confrontation. So, so we don't have to worry about that, right? She won't start anything. But if she is at the table and somebody is coming at her, she will defend herself because my drag queen, my queen of all queens, is also a gaslighter supreme. So she won't start nothing, but she will finish it. And I have no doubt that she'll be able to really like get in there and really make bonds with people. And again, we saw it on the Survivor, the little Survivor mini that she did. I think she'll be invaluable in the challenges. And I'm telling you, she's going to be way more laid back and reserved. She's going to be way more laid back and reserved. And I think people will like, there'll be bigger fishes to fry.
So my one question is, because I feel like we have heard, I certainly have not been keeping up with Drag Race for a while now, admittedly, but I have heard every time people talk about wanting Monet to be on one of these shows and Monet talking about wanting to be on one of these shows. Monet's wanted to be on Survivor for a long time. And granted, Monet gets the opportunity on the influencer thing, but this is, I feel like, the first proper opportunity Monet has been handed to be in one of these strategic formatted games.
Yes.
Do you think that Monet is that going to make Monet feel a little bit too much pressure to try and play perfect and play a little conservative? Or do you think Monet is like, I'm just going to play how I want to play and not fear the chance of like, I might miss this opportunity again?
So the pressure won't get to her. She won't feel the pressure because she'll be too busy just being herself. She has said that she wants to be a faithful that's been recruited halfway through. She said that she thinks that is she said she thinks that is the absolute best position to be in because you get that rhythm of being a faithful, and then you might get in the end you'll get the reward of winning as a traitor if you do. And I honestly think, like we said, for a lot of people that is the dream. I think for her that would be her absolute winning strategy. There's no pressure because the other thing about Monet is when she thinks she's right. So I can see we're going to have a lot of loud and wrong type of situations with her. It makes me think of Trana from Canada season 2. Like if Monet finds a ride or die, hopefully that ride or die is a traitor. And I could see her being the loud and wrong person. And I can see that loud and wrongness be what keeps her in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Love her down. But once she has an idea, it's in there. And if it's wrong, that would be great. That would actually be great for her. If she's like nowhere near catching the traitors, I think she could really stick in there for a long time.
Yeah, I think with the loud and wrong faithfuls, what happens is usually the traitors will leave them in because it makes no sense to get rid of somebody who's going to point people in the wrong direction. what you don't want is the loud and wrong person to get too much power, or the other side of the coin, which is we don't want the loud and wrong person to then be punished for it by the other faithfuls who are now going to start looking at you for being a liability. And I still think that Monet can beat those accusations and arguments and be okay.
Yeah.
So and Monet fascinates me because Monet's one of the people on this cast that I'm looking forward to, not too soon, but looking forward to talking to in an exit, because I am sure there was a lot of preparation that went into this, you know? And I want to know what methods, what did you do? What did you watch? What did you like? What was the study to get here? That would interest me a lot. Now, okay, so Monet does not want to be a traitor to start. Love that. I feel the same way. Do you think Monet is going to try and figure out who a traitor is to try and work with them? Or do you think Monet is going to just try and be a detective more than that?
I think what would be my best guess what Monet would do, I think she would be smart enough to find her people. She wants to find people that I think she can trust first, and then she'll kind of assess if she cares if they're a traitor or not. Because honestly, going into these games, as somebody who was in the first RHAP Traitors, who had absolutely no idea what was going on for most of it, honestly, you just have to get your people. You know what I'm saying? You have to get your people that you trust, and you ride with them until they don't give you until they give you a reason not to trust them anymore. So I'm sure in her preparation, she worked on making those bonds, trying to lower her own threat level. That would be my suggestion to people going in. It's like, try and just work on your threat level first. And then worry about catching a traitor. I could definitely see her like bandwagoning, you know what I'm saying? Like just going with the flow of the house. I don't necessarily see her championing anything. I could see people maybe like serving her stuff, like giving her information and asking her to maybe talk for the group, something like that. So I don't think she's going to come in here guns blazing. I really don't.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that we need Monet to find her people. So let's look at the cast here and let's see who those people will be. Now, before we even get into this, I want to ask you, how do you think Monet and Rob Cesternino are going to get along?
Oh my gosh. I hope Monet gets in there and just makes Rob as like uncomfortable as possible, like in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Just like in the best way possible.
Well, what's funny is that my prediction is that both Monet and Rob are looking for the same outcome. They both want to be faithfuls, and then they both want to be traitors later if they can help themselves. So that'll be very funny.
Yeah, Rob gets along with a whole bunch of people. So I definitely don't see them like being on opposites coming at each other. And again, Monet does love Survivor. So I can definitely see her working with the survivors, working with Rob, working with Jam Jam. And Natalie, oh my God. She's talked about San Juan del Sur, I believe, on podcasts. I've been the sibling rivalry podcast has been going on for 8 years. I am a sibling. I'm part of the Mo Nation. I consume all of the hours, and she basically binged Survivor all throughout the pandemic. So I could definitely see her working with the survivors. I think I'm really scared about Dorinda, to be quite honest. I think, Pooya, do you think Dorinda's gonna like come back for blood and
get the receipt on Monet for the Bob receipt and be like, you have to pay this now? Oh my God. I hope not, because the running theory I have, and at this point I've said it on almost every preview. So either premiere night, I look good or I look stupid. I think that there's a world Dorinda's a traitor to kick things off. Because
that would make sense to me.
Yeah, she died first last time. They clearly wanted her, so they brought her back. And so how to keep her alive and other housewives alive? Put her in the turret, or one of the housewives in the turret. So that could be a world where that happens. I still hope that that's not the case. Here's the thing: what I will say is, I feel like Dorinda would have to hold on to that grudge for a year to then pay it. Alternatively, Do I think there's an odd that someone's going to piss her off within that first day? Yes, I also think that's possible. So long as if she is a traitor, so long as someone else does it, I think Monet will be safe.
Yeah, yes. I hope so. I would be so mad.
Hmm.
But honestly, I think that is the only like direct threat that I'm seeing like initially. Um, I want to say I want to say Monet worked on The Bachelor before, so she might know Colton. Yeah, she did a guest spot on The Bachelor with Shea
Okay.
Coulee. Mhm. Again during the pandemic. She was on Katie's season, I believe, if I recall correctly. So she might have a working relationship with Bachelor Nation. I definitely can see her. The one person I can see her clashing with is Michael Rappaport. Um, for sure, for sure.
Hmm, hmm.
But I mean, who wouldn't? But just looking at the cast, I don't see any obvious threats. But Monet is as sweet as Saint Lucia. She is calm. She is not gonna start the drama, but she will enter it. She will turn it up if it needs to. But I really do think she'll just revert to calm, stay out of the way, gather information, be the life of the party, like helping people, type thing. Miscongeniality is coming out. We are going to see miscongeniality Monet here, definitely.
I think so. And I think this is a great cast for that because while in previous seasons, I feel like I could have seen more cliques forming, this season, I don't see that as much. Granted, there
Yeah.
are like 4 or 5 housewives, there are 4 or 5 CBS folk, but I just don't see all of those groups connecting like that because there's
Mhm.
so many other people there, so many one-offs. So it's gonna be a lot of people connecting like all over the place. And if that is truly the game, I think that benefits someone like Monet. I think that benefits someone like Rob, who I think are going to be social butterflies and can talk with about any personality at any given time.
Yeah. I'm really fascinated, Pooya. I would really love to hear your thoughts. How do you think like the social dynamics going into a season 3 are gonna come into play with, like you said, Real Housewives versus Survivors? Like we said, it's always like you always think that in the turret, there has to be at least one survivor, one big brother.
Mhm.
Like, how do you think that metagaming is gonna work?
So every season, I worry for the CBS folk because of the
Mhm.
fact that historically now they put at least one, if not two people from that batch into the turret. And
Yeah.
so that seemed to not come up or matter as much for the first 3 seasons. Then the Housewives felt targeted last year.
Yeah.
And specifically, someone like Dorinda, who was there, felt that and went experienced that. So
Mhm.
then my worry is this the year finally that someone's going to be like, well, you better not be getting out Housewives, Survivor. And it's like, oh no, are they going to start looking that way? Now, the
Mhm.
group of Housewives that are here, I don't see them working as a unit. So that could be
Yeah.
something that helps break that side up. But my running theory, aside from Dorinda being a traitor, is that this is the year the Traitors scraps any CBS people from the turret. And they put Dorinda, they put Donna Kelsey, who Donna Kelsey's my
Mhm.
locked in traitor pick. Dorinda, I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, I could sway. I'm locked in on Donna. And then the third one could be Johnny Weir. This got brought up in our first episode when we talked about the RHAP preview. It got brought up that, well, Peacock is also doing the Winter Olympics and the Super Bowl, and kind of putting both those promotions into the turret, I think could be a thing that happens. It could also be a way to offset we're always going to assume there's a Survivor Big Brother person in the turret, because
Mhm.
if we go into this season, Mari, and there is like, let's say the traders are Tiffany and Jam Jam and let's say Mora from Love Island.
Love her.
Then if you're on season 5, I don't care if my best friends from these shows are on the cast, get rid of them immediately because they're always going to be in the turret. Like, you know what I mean? Like they have to break the meta up
Yeah.
somehow, even if some people aren't paying attention to it. At some point, people will pay attention to it, and then your show is gone because people are going to just vote this person out because of their show affiliation and not because of anything to do with the game. which
Yeah.
would not be ideal.
Exactly. So, and that's scary for us because, of course, we want our dear leader Rob to go far. But if there's no survivor Big Brother in that turret, I am scared for all of them because not only is nobody protecting you at night, but those banishments feel like they might start there with the banishments as well. So, I'm pretty sure you talked about this last time. Our last preview podcast. Like I'm that receipt of let's get all the CBS players out it's scary.
Always in my head.
I know.
Always in my head. Yeah.
I hope it doesn't happen, but no matter what, this is a very good cast overall. And I am very, very excited to see where everybody ends up lying. Those the three housewives minus Dorinda, like that's gonna be interesting to see that those are like three huge personalities for housewives. Like those are like those are some top tier housewives who know how to make TV. So I'm very interested to see how that goes.
I think that there's like one or two duds for me on this cast. Everyone else, not only are they not duds, I think to your point, are very big personalities.
Ooh, they're duds. Wait,
at any point.
Say their names. Say their names. Drag her. Who are the duds?
Well, you already referred to one of them clashing with Monet, so you already knew one. The second one, listen, it's yet to be seen, but I don't know how much I'm going to be like, damn, Colton really brought it this season. You know, like I'm not seeing it there. No. I feel like Bachelor Nation has delivered very good casting so far. With Ari did decent, but we'll never forget what happened at the final fire. But then the two that really stuck out to me were Pilot Pete, who did really well as a detective faithful, and then Gabby last season, who killed the social game to get all the way to the end. Exactly. I don't see Colton fitting any of those boxes, but also didn't see that with Pilot Pete. So I'd be open to getting proven wrong. But my initial prediction is I don't see it.
I can understand that as somebody who watched all of Colton's seasons. He was not bringing the entertainment, but it might be different now that he's out now. So maybe we'll see a different side to him. Maybe he was just reserved for TV initially, so maybe that. But I agree with those. I definitely agree with those. What about Steven? Mr. Laguna Beach /
I don't know much about Steven, but every person that I've talked to so far and has had a preview is looking at Steven as a piece for somebody else to work in the game.
He's giving Dylan Efron. Yes.
Yeah, they're like he's going to be the +1 on someone else's squad. Is kind of the vibe.
As somebody who again loved Laguna Beach and watched One Tree Hill, Steven is very that just down the ride type of dude. So I could definitely see him being like a tag along in a way. So I mean, it helped Dylan last season. So
and the way Dylan played the game, the way Gabby played the game, these are not games that have receipts afterwards. No one's like, we need to get rid of this nice person who's just talking to hella people. That's not really going to be something that's going to get brought up as much as this person was on Survivor or this person won Big Brother. That's always going to be the more enticing thing to look at. You're not going to remember moments like that. And like, I feel like it's a low-key game to play, but it's a low-key game that gives you reward and then no one gets punished for it after, for the most part, versus if you are loud, if you are wrong, if you are confrontational, these things always do get someone to think, this is like that person last year. I need to get rid of them. So
yeah, I agree. I think just like kind of like with Monet, I think it's one of those things where I don't see Monet getting voted out. And as of right now, Steven doesn't seem like he'd get voted out. So, or banished. So I could definitely see if my prediction for Monet would be probably being murdered midway through if she isn't turned into a traitor. Like I just don't see her getting banished in the early game. Like I really do
Mhm.
see her making it through the early game. I think it would be the mid game she has to worry about when there's less people. Um and I think that more often than not she'll get murdered in the night. Kind of like Fierce Delicious on Canada Drag Race, because it is
Mhm.
it's a one-to-one, you know. Um how it is how are we treating drag queens, you know, in these type of games. You can kind of um create a dot showing the equivalence. So but my hope is she starts as a faithful. I hope she gets recruited halfway through very sneakily. And I hope she wins. And honestly, the US versions, ever since Sari, the faithfuls have been winning, which is boring, boring.
Mhm. Yeah, the
So
faithful
maybe
and
staying a
and the
faithful might be better.
Well, I think also it's worth noting that the faithful keep winning because the traitors keep losing. Like the traitors
Yeah,
keep. I think what I learned coming out of last season and watching some more franchises along the way is low key, the best way for the traders to win is to just stick it out with each other. Just work
yeah,
together
yeah,
because as long as you don't give them information, they got nothing on you and they
yeah,
can't really do much. And, not to get too deep into like this season of Canada, I feel like this season of Canada is a bit of an outlier where it's like, y'all got the breadcrumbs, you got the map, and then you were like, nah, we're not looking at this evidence. It's fine. We'll move on.
yeah.
Whereas every other season, it's like, nope, this person was voting, the trader that went out was looking at this person. We need to vote them. And then they get two traders.
Yep.
So just stick it out, work together. And in the event that you lose a trader, you can bring someone in either to throw out immediately or at that point, bring someone in to, ride the team out. Because I think that the allure of being a trader is I can win all the money by myself. And I think that
Mm,
while that is a fun exercise, I think that is automatically making the game a little bit harder for yourself because
yeah.
you are then a solo mission to the end. But I think it's almost nice to have three people get to the end and hey, maybe you try and slip one of them out at final six. I think you could do that and get away with it, especially if you need to feed the faithful something. But super early on, just stick it out with the team. Like even if you don't love
Yeah.
the team, breadcrumb it a little bit, throw some information out there, but don't push them out. Do not do that.
Exactly. Exactly. It's always been the actively turning traders, like actively that have been the destruction, because it's like you are giving the evidence. If they have no
Mm-hmm.
evidence for the traders, then the longer the better. The longer they go without finding a single trader, the better it is for the traders. I think what's been happening is a lot of people are like, oh, if we give them a trader early, then it'll satisfy them, and then it'll give us some more wiggle room. No, hold that off as long as you can. Then if you need a sacrifice, sacrifice. It made me think what Cody went out in what the second banishment in Cerise season in season one. I think he went out like second or third.
No,
But
Cody made it further than that.
Cody, I wasn't he the first he was the
Yeah.
first trader. I
Oh,
thought
he was. Oh, was he the first or the second
he was the
trader out?
first because Christian and Cerise made it.
You're right. No,
Uh-huh.
I meant like I thought you meant he was one of the first couple round tables like out. But
Yeah, I thought he
as far
was
as
like the third.
no, he made it to like episode 7, I think. Like, he made it
Oh,
decently far. Um,
see, still better. Like because he was definitely the first one, the first of those traders out. So yeah, the deeper the better, honestly. And Sari and Christian did not, they weren't like actively setting him up. He basically
mhm,
like kind of did it to himself. So yeah, no, this is great. I'm so glad it's trader season again. I will be
we're
sick.
back.
I will be physically sick because of course I'm watching not only
Mhm,
my favorite drag queen play, but my favorite survivor player, Robsy.
mhm,
No,
mhm.
what, Natalie. No. I'm watching like people that you've been watching for years on your TV. Like I'm going to be physically sick, but I'm going to enjoy it because I love traders. I'm so glad that this show we're going full celebrity. We've been going full celebrity for the last 3 seasons. It's been so entertaining, and NBC is like riding the wave. We're not waiting 2 years for another season. It's so good. This is so good.
Yeah. Not only are we not waiting 2 years, we're getting a season a year, and now they're gonna be trying out a civilian season as well next year.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get 2 seasons from the US per year potentially. That would be ideal. I'm excited, very pumped. I'm a little bit nervous just because usually with the beginning of a trader season, we get a lot of, not we as in like the podcast number, but we as traders audience get a influx of new people who find the show, which is fun until people are arguing with each other and it's a battlefield. Because I'm still picking myself up from all the Danielle discourse and the
Oh,
Carolyn discourse and the
true.
whole mess that was that turret last season, and
That's
everyone
true.
being mad at each other instead of just watching the show. So do I imagine that, Donna Kelsey's gonna bring some Swifties up in here? Yes.
Oh,
Do I
God.
figure that the Winter
Love
Olympic squad
Island.
is coming? Love Islander. Oh my God, the Love Islanders. Oh
You didn't
God,
even
yeah.
think of that.
I didn't even think we are not ready.
Luckily,
It's gonna
Rob
be a
C is
lot.
Rob R is we're like everybody's like he cool, but I don't think he's not Nicolandra Ryder. I don't think he has those. So hopefully,
I don't think so. I think that
R might have
if
shooters.
mm,
I'll
I
recommend
mean,
her.
I talked about with Rob R. I was like, well, I think after his season of Love Island, we all anticipated at least 2 people from that season to be on season 3,
Yeah,
at least, and they didn't show
he
up. And
didn't
then
show
he's the
up.
first one. I
Uh-huh.
think if they bring anyone from PPG next season or anyone from like if they bring literally any of the main characters from this past season, it's gonna be a bloodbath online. I'm not even talking about in the castle. Online is gonna be raps. It's gonna be a mess.
Agreed.
Um,
I don't know
yeah.
about that Top Chef fandom either. I don't. They
I
got
don't
the
know.
ride or die?
I mean, Kristen is from what I've heard, Kristen is incredible and
Oh
seems like
yeah,
a good vibe. So I don't know how much Kristen slander is gonna exist anyway. You know what I mean? Like she seems very palatable compared to like the Rob R fans slewing people. Oh God.
Mhm.
Yeah. So everyone be ready. Get excited. Aside from that, it's gonna be a very fun ride. 3 episodes to kick off the premiere night, January 8th. So make sure y'all are tuned in and checking that out. Mari, thank you so much for coming on here to break all things Monet down. Where can people find you? What projects do you have going on?
Of course, you can find me over on Blue Sky. That's the only place I'm at. At Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. I'm also over on Crime Scene with Sarah Carradine. Me and Sarah Carradine do true crime review podcasts. So if you've been watching any fascinating documentaries recently, like The Perfect Neighbor, the Diddy doc, stuff like that. If you like true crime, come and listen to us. You can go to crimescenepod.com. That's crime, SEEN pod.com in order to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And of course, over on Recap Kickback, me and Chappelle talk about whatever we want to. I know you and Chappelle are talking about Bel Air. Me and Chappelle are talking about Interview with the Vampire, getting ready for season 3 of the Interview with the Vampire. So that's been fun. You can go to recapkickback.com or go to youtube.com/@recapkickback. And we are also going to be covering A Night of the Seven Kingdoms when that drops in January, the Game of Thrones, the other spinoff of Game of Thrones. So that's going to be fun. So just, go over there. We talk about whatever we want. And so hopefully y'all subscribe.
Amazing. Y'all can, of course, find me on all socials at Pooyaism, twitch.tv/Pooya. I will be watching the episodes live every Thursday with you this season. We've already discussed that at length, but I'm only going to get to critique my boss one time, and it's going to be now. So make sure you pull up for those. It's going to be fun there. Podcasting, Mari already mentioned, but yes, Chappelle and I will be covering the final season of Bel Air. So make sure you come through and check that out. And then I'm talking 90 Day every week. Hot Mess Express, pull up. Brand new season before the 90 Day has been out for a couple of weeks now. So make sure you check that out. And then me and Liana every week over on the Pooya and Liana Lounge, talking whatever we would like to talk about. Sometimes it's very massive and proper topics. Sometimes it's absolute shithousery. So make sure you come in and check out what that is all about. And then subscribe to this feed if you haven't already. Aside from Traitors US, I will be talking Traitors UK this season. That's starting a week before Traitors US. So 2 seasons of the Traitors for the price of 1 for 1 month should be fun and intense. Make sure you are tapped in for all of that. But for now, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new person to speak on. But until then, you take care. Have a good one. Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.